This is the story, this goes along with the story of Maui's fishhook. And this one is very dear to me because I just gave birth to a son who I named Makau Nui o Maui, or his kauna is Makau Nui o Maui. Because Makau is really depicting an impactual event. Something very impactful. What fishes would normally feel when that hook just yanks them suddenly. That's Makau. And that's the name of my son who is just born. And if you can zoom in on this scientific information here, this actually looks like a fish hook. And what is amazing about this is how scientists have found, this is what happens when a star is torn. When a star visits and travels too closely to a black hole, the gravitational pull of the black hole will rip it, will rip that star. That's why it's called a star is torn. And what's interesting is after it's ripped, the rest of the star is flung into the galaxy. And this actually goes with the storyline of Hina, Maui's mother. And there's a story of how the stars came to its place. The story is Hina was holding her calabash. And when she opened her calabash, the stars flew up into their places. And it's so amazing how these ancient petroglyphs actually explained thousands of years before modern day scientists explains here the phenomenon or the science behind what happens when a star travels too close to a black hole. It was already chiseled thousands of years ago. And interesting enough, this actually looks like the island Maui or Tahiti. Go figure that one. This is the scientific information. This is an artist's depiction of the exact location of the moon in conjunction to the Earth. And if you look good or zoom in on this picture, it resembles an ipu, or gourd, a water gourd. That's why Hina is also known as the canoe bailer of heaven. So if you look at this petroglyph here, this image, before, our ancestors only had chiseled the circles, yeah? But in the 1800s, when our grandparents' generation was learning Western astronomy, and they still understood these symbols, they came back out here and chiseled a happy face in that circle, because in the Western world, they look at the moon as the man in the moon, or the face of the moon, or the part of the moon that always faces the Earth. So they chiseled that as a clue for our generation in order to bridge an ancient past to the future so that we don't forget. And so its location to the Earth, where Kalo is, yeah? And if you break down the kauna of Waihinu, Vai symbolizes wealth, water. It is the sustenance that our vessels need to live, to survive. And when you break the kauna down, it actually describes the action that takes place between the moon and the Earth. Because as we know today, the moon controls the tides of the Earth, like a canoe bailer. Because if Hina didn't control the tides of the Earth, we would, or if you didn't have a canoe bailer on your canoe, you could drown. There is an unbalance there. So that's why this here is chiseled Waihinu and Kalo. This was all clues left to us by our grandparents so that we wouldn't forget, because it is our responsibility to remember the way our ancestors saw the stars and then teach it to our children for the next generation. We're obligated to.